All right. So, I am just gonna give a quick review over a movie I watched last night. Um, Today is November 23rd, 2015. It's around 11:30 a.m. Um, I watched the movie Terminator Genisys. Um, I wanted to see it in movie theater, but I just didn't go. So I was like wanting to watch a movie last night, and I was like, let me just browse around, and then I was like, oh yeah, the Terminator movie, and it was listed. So I watched it on Amazon Prime. Um, all right, right into the movie. So the synopsis is pretty much about John Connor and set in the future where he's older and he is with his group of people and they are battling Skynet. And he's just explaining we have to go in there, we're going to do this and that. And um, you see how things start to turn out after that. They go back into 1984 um, time, and you see Arnold Schwarzenegger as his young self from the actual first movie. They did CGI, and I actually think they did wonderful in that. There were some moments he kind of looked, you could tell it was CGI, but it still was really good. And then they also showed Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's older. And then they get into other characters like John Connor's mom and some other ones that are prevalent in this story. Um, and overall, getting into now my personal view of the movie, I love how they incorporated the different movies. My very favorite Terminator movie is the second one. I was a kid when I seen that, so I had to be probably like 6 or 8 years old when it was released. I think it was like 1990 when that one was released, and if so, I was 6 years old. Um, and I just like that one because of the liquid, um, the T1000. I just loved how like the liquid arms and how he would blend into the floor, and it scared me, but it was still cool. Well, they had that one in here. Um, and I just want to mention the actor who played that character in this one. I like how they actually had the character look very similar to the T1000 in the Terminator 2, even though he is actually Asian descent. So that was awesome to see. I was like, represent. um, and it's just his like mannerisms, like you could just tell it was just like spot on. He must have studied, the second movie. And then they just went on and started showing the other characters from the various movies, and they had quite a good amount of jokes. I actually was laughing out loud, and to get into the story itself. Over time, it got a little confusing, but if you pay attention, um, because it is a long movie, but it works. They keep you interested with a lot of action and the story. As you know, Terminator, all the Terminator movies can get confusing if you don't really pay attention. So, because it's science fiction, you want to pay attention to what you're watching. Because this one, they actually incorporated um, an older Terminator in like the newest Terminator. So I was like, oh, that's neat. And then they show you how like some are helpful and some aren't, and and then how like John Connor's story comes into play. I thought that was really neat too. So for me, I'm not like a Terminator like fan. Like I can't say, oh my goodness, I have to watch every single movie because I didn't watch. I think it was the third. No, no, I'm sorry, the fourth one, because I finally watched the first one like some years ago. But the very first one I ever seen was the second one when I was a kid, and then the third one when it came out. Um, and then I didn't watch the fourth one. I think that's the one with Christian Bale. I didn't watch that. I just wasn't interested. And then there's this one. Um, so, out of 10 stars, I give this movie an 8.2. I really, really like it. It was entertaining. And I love the story for how they incorporated Arnold Schwarzenegger, how he is today. Like I think he might be 70 something years old. Like they actually incorporated his age into the story. And then, you got to see him when he was younger, and then you get to see the other Terminators involved in the movie as well. So, and then I like the story of John Connor and how you know he came about, and his mother's story infused with it. Um, and then I like how they incorporated also um, the newest evolved Terminator was a mixture between like the internet and like a robot. And I thought that was really neat because, as you can tell, today we're always about the internet. Everybody's always on their phones, are always checking things like from their profiles to, like on Facebook and all these other social medias to, you know, um, just any technology from video games to laptops to even stuff in cars. So it was like, wow, how they incorporated that. Um, and so that's why I give it an 8.2. It kept me interested, and the movie is around 2 hours long. And I actually stayed paying attention to it because at first I was getting a little confused, but I was like, no, I'm getting it. Like, let me keep watching. And then it started, coming together more and more. So I like that aspect. Um, and then the acting. The actress that plays John Connor, John Connor's mom, I can't remember, I think Emilia Clarke is her name. At first, she was okay to me, and then over time, she actually did better. Um, I just think maybe it was the dialogue, or just she may not have felt as comfortable in certain scenes at first, but once it got going, you could tell like she was getting really into it. And then the guy that plays one of the helpers of John Connor, he was really well. I felt. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger, like it was actually entertaining how his character evolved from, the known Terminator characters he plays to the one he plays in this one. And he actually had jokes which were funny. And so 8.2 is what I give it out of 10. All right, bye. Oh, and I got my hair corn rolled on Friday. I had to think. I really like it. I haven't had it corn rolled I mean, like 3 years ago. So, yay. Bye.